This is the song of the insurance man, and it shows how different the whole history of England might have been if great people in the past had all been insured. When I'm canvassing folks for insurance, some historical facts I disclose. For instance, I say, look at Adam, poor Adam. Well, every insurance man knows if he'd only paid 9pence a week, that's all, if he'd only paid 9pence a week. When Adam woke up in the garden and found he'd been robbed of a rib, so to speak, he'd have put in his claim, been as rich as a king. Then instead of those fig leaves he wore on a string, he'd have been fully covered for everything. If he'd only paid 9pence a week, that's all. If he'd only paid 9pence a week. And then take Horatio Nelson, who lost both one eye and one arm, then had to go back to Trafalgar to fight, when he might have bought such a nice farm. If he'd only paid 9pence a week, that's all. If he'd only paid 9pence a week, he wouldn't be stuck on that column today in a uniform rather antique. He wouldn't look down on the Bolshes who spout and think what the deuce are they raving about, while the pigeons are pecking his other eye out. If he'd only paid 9pence a week, that's all. If he'd only paid 9pence a week. Now, you've all heard of Cassabianca, a brave and courageous lad, but he wasn't insured when the vessel got burnt. Still, I don't blame the boy, but his dad. If they'd only paid 9pence a week, that's all. If they'd only paid 9pence a week, when the boy stood alone on the ship's burning deck, he'd have felt more content, so to speak. For there on the deck, with the flames leaping higher, when poor little Cassaby's trousers caught fire, he wouldn't have borrowed his sister's attire. If he'd only paid 9pence a week, that's all. If he'd only paid 9pence a week.